Right, welcome back, everybody. We've got episode 2 of Jockey Talk here, and as I'm sure you can see already, we're joined by one of the big names of racing, Rossa Ryan. Rossa, welcome to the podcast. Thanks very much for being with us tonight.
Cheers, lads. Thanks for having me.
So what we'll do is we're gonna dive straight in. I mean, first of all, Chris, we sat down with Rossa Ryan. Can you believe it?
He's a
Good,
good
this,
lad,
isn't
isn't he?
it?
Thanks for doing it. It's great he's joined us. Yeah, so thanks. He's a busy boy, so yeah, much appreciated, mate. No bother.
So, look, for those of you who've seen episode 1, obviously we want to ask Rosser a few bits and pieces about himself. We're going to look at last season. We're going to look ahead to next season, and yeah, we're just gonna have a good time with it. So, we'll dive straight in. Rosser, it's been quite a season for you. I've got here live stats. It seems to be. Just tell me if this is incorrect or not. 180 wins in the season.
I think so, so far, yeah.
Sound about right. And it's been, yeah, obviously there's been some serious ups for you. Your first Group One, Shaquille. I want to start by going back to that day, if you don't mind, and talking about how that was for you, because we both watched that race back quite a few times, and one hell of a celebration as you crossed the line.
Um, yeah, it was a bit mad. Uh, to say I enjoyed it would be an overstatement because I was unsure after we'd gone a furlong really what to do. And to do what he did afterwards kind of seemed a bit bizarre. It was very freakish what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, it's after a furlong or so. Obviously, he missed the break quite a few times in his career, didn't he? From the stalls. But you shot him to the front after a furlong or two, and he never looked back. He never stopped. No, and like I spoke to James Doyle beforehand, and he said, "Look, that's him. He misses it. Just leave him alone." I left him alone, but he didn't jump as slow as he jumped at Oisin and Ascot. Mm.
Yeah.
But in Ascot, they went a gallop the day I rode him. They didn't. So um, I was on the back of Kinross, and I was thinking, I'm coming down if I don't wheel out here. And yeah, he filled up. He filled up 2.5 out with me once he got his head in front hard power. And I thought, oh, ours to do this now won't pick up, especially in a Group 1 of all races. Even if you had 20, 30 pound up your sleeve, it'd be hard to. And by God, he went again. I was kind of mesmerized that he did go in.
It was very impressive. Yeah, it was just to watch the race. It was quite like we're both big supporters of your roster, and to watch the race, it was quite nerve-wracking from just that point, because obviously the Group One was well overdue to win your first Group One, and then obviously to go on to win three more this season as well. So in total, you four Group Ones,
Yeah.
and then the main thing I wanted to ask you was next next season, Rosser, is there a one eye on the Jockeys Championship when it all restarts and it all resets? Is it something you're going to go for?
I think everyone goes for it. The start of the year, to be honest with you. Um, Look, it's obviously been knocking on the door the last 2 years, but there's one thing going for it. There's another thing being able to do it. I mean, I'm not saying it can't happen, but I am, and I do hope one day it does happen. Whether that is in the next couple of years or further down the line, I'm unsure. But um, yeah, we'll just keep doing what we're doing. It seems to be working anyways, and if we can have a chance at going for a title and being closer, being closer to the leaders after Goodwood to give them a right scare, yeah, it'll be definitely something that it does take some effort, mate. You know, fair play. The commitment and the rise you have to pick up is incredible.
Yeah.
And also, my
Yeah.
age must be doing handstands or training.
Yeah.
What he's there for.
Well, look, it seems like after this season, it will just springboard you to better things. So look, we'll see. We're rooting for him. We'd love to see you go for it and challenge. I think you'll finish second in the championship. I think just ahead of Tom Mark on this. It's officially, is it officially over? When does it stop counting? Or
Yeah, no, it starts Guinea's Day, and it ends Champions Day.
okay, perfect. Yeah, so they're the final stands. Yeah, Chris, did you want to take?
Yeah, just get sort of Ross, really get a bit of background. So going back to like your early days, for example, you was in racing from sort of early age, and then when you actually got into sort of proper racing, like for example, who did you look up to in the weighing room? Did you have an idol when you was growing up, or did you really take a lot of advice from anyone in particular when you really got going?
Uh, I mean, my idol kind of growing up when I did take a, I suppose, See the Stars was probably my first kind of look at the flat scene because I wasn't the lightest young lad pony racing, so I thought I'd end up jumping. Um, so kind of See the Stars with Mick Canaan, kind of looked to him, and then as we grew older, kind of changed towards Pat Smullen and Richard
Yeah.
Hughes. Um, Look, any bit of advice you get at all, even now to this day, you take on board, try it, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, go back to your own ways. It's kind of the way I see it all the time.
Yeah.
Um, and it doesn't really matter from who.
No,
Um,
the three names you just mentioned there, absolute brilliant riders, legends in their own right. Richard Hughes, probably one of the calmest jockeys
yeah, and like
in the last years.
yeah, and before I got my license to Richard Hannon, I was in Richard Hughes's for 2 or 3 weeks beforehand, and just riding out, and like the amount he taught me on that alone was incredible. Like he's a great mentor, and you've seen the way he's brought through the likes of Finley Marsh,
Yeah.
George Brook, who's now gone to New
Yeah,
Zealand, things like that. It's incredible, but I still I still stick with Mick Canaan because, well, obviously, See the Stars is the first tie I had to him as an early
yeah,
member, and the first time I ever rode at the Breeders' Cup, I actually rang Mick Canaan the night before and asked him for advice on how to ride America. And he could have hung up and just said, "Oh, wrong number" or whatever. But to be
yeah,
fair, he taught me through everything, and it had no chance, anyways. But it was the fact that he
yeah.
gave me the time of day. I thought,
Yeah.
what a legend.
And do you find then, sort of overall, obviously in the weighing room, there is a big rivalry between you all, but do you all sort of lean on each other for little bits of advice where when necessary?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I suppose it's kind of got to the stage now. Not only the racing world, but the jockeys. Where once Ryan Moore speaks, you listen.
Yeah.
Ryan Moore has given you a bollock, and you really did do something wrong.
You got to listen if he's talking, of course. Yeah.
That's fair comment. That's fair comment. And so, what are your plans now the season's finished? Are you likely to stay in the UK over the winter, or are you going to go abroad, take a bit of time off? What's the plan?
Yeah, I'll take a month off somewhere. Um, Go home and see my family, and um, I haven't got offered anywhere to go anywhere. There might be a few horses that might go to Saudi Arabia
Yeah.
and maybe Dubai towards March time, but as for going on a stint somewhere, no, I haven't got any plans.
No, fair enough. So, in sort of off season, then, Rossler, do you have any sort of outside hobbies, anything other than racing, that you're into at all?
I do like playing golf, but waste of time this time of the year.
True.
I'll probably go see a couple of um Premier League matches. I'd be a big United fan. Um,
Ah, here we
Oh,
go.
that's
Okay.
unlucky, mate. Yeah, I feel sorry for you there, mate. To be fair, I'm a Nottingham Forest fan myself.
I
Harry's a
know what you're
Chelsea
thinking, Rosser.
fan.
Who? Yeah, I know.
no, the
Nottingham
only
Forest.
reason I know Nottingham Forest is because he was in with Amber Racing buying horses, and the sales just gone by.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah, we're doing all right this year. To be fair, we are doing all right. But yeah, with your golf as well. Get yourself over to Spain, Portugal. Get yourself a bit of golfing.
That's the plan. That's the
Yeah, I
hope.
love it. big
And
golfer
then
myself. So
Rossa, not to bring you back to reality too quickly, but when you're out of the flat season, do you keep an eye? Are you a fan of the jumps? Do you keep any
Yeah,
eye on the jumps? Are you okay? Do you go to the meetings like Cheltenham? Will you attend
yeah,
Cheltenham? And you
yeah.
will.
Well, I grew up jumping because my dad trained jumpers and pointers, and
Okay.
when I was growing up, uh, kind of the 12, 13, 14, 15, I used to spend every Christmas and Halloween and whatever holidays you got in February. I used to go down to the Bulgers.
Oh
mm,
right. Okay.
I growing up going down there, that's kind of where I learned how to manage a horse and school and whatever you have. And then my last year or two, I spent Christmas time at Willie Mullins's because I didn't think I was going on the flat, so I didn't even bother. But yeah.
Oh
so
wow.
do
Okay.
you see in years to come a sort of revert to the jumps, Rosser, or happy as you are now?
I don't plan this, but if a ride came up in Champion Bumper, I wouldn't turn it down either, you
I'm
know.
sure you wouldn't.
I
Yeah, great
I'm
I
race.
sure you
still
wouldn't.
no, and like things like Road to Cheltenham there that to be on racing TV, I'd watch that now and keep a good interest in it. I do like the jumps. I still haven't veered away from that. It's I suppose Boxing Day in Leopardstown over
Yeah.
Christmas is the highlight for anyone really. Like it's just a
Yeah.
great day of sport and yeah.
It's a great day. We used to so yeah, Chris and I and a couple of friends used to go to Ireland every year for the Punchestown Festival,
Mm.
which was just fantastic. And it's just the feeling of being there on one of those big race days. It's crazy. There's nothing
Yeah,
like it.
it's mad really because when you look at it like there wouldn't be many people at jumps meetings, but you go to a big flat meeting in England, there'd be wedged. And then you go to
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ireland, a big flat meeting in the Curragh, there's no one there. But then you go to Leopardstown at Christmas time or Punchestown, it's absolutely
Yeah.
jammed.
that's
Like
exactly it.
Leopardstown at Christmas is just unreal. Like,
Yeah. It's completely different over here. I'm off to Cheltenham this weekend, and obviously it's not it's like the opener, but I'm expecting to not be able to fucking move because there's gonna be so many people there.
yeah, and I suppose with the jumping fans are real racing fans.
Yeah,
That's probably where it falls in fault with flat racing. Sometimes flat is looked at glitz and glamour and whatever you have it,
Yeah.
but jumping, anyone that's at Cheltenham
yeah,
is they're through and through, you know.
yeah, of course.
Yes.
Rossi, you mentioned just asked you about one thing, and obviously we can move straight on if it's a little too sort of delicate, but obviously news broke out a while back of your separation with Ammo Racing. And I just wanted to ask you, was that at the time when that was all going on, was that like amicable, and do you still have good relationships there and everything?
Oh yeah, I do get on great with Kia. Um,
Mm,
we I'd have dinner with him once a month or so. Like
Nice.
it's kind of like he's a family friend now more than anything. Like whenever
that's
my
nice.
family are over, and Royal Ascot, like he'd sort them out with tickets and get them up to his box and whatever you'd have. Um, and like yeah, I'd still talk to him quite a bit, but like it wouldn't even be about horse racing to be honest with you. He's just
Mm.
a good friend. It was what it was, and I had my reasons to take my actions. Um, but I still would stick by my word. Like so, like you know, growing up, honesty was everything, and yeah,
Yeah, of
it
course.
was in trouble at the start, but eventually people would see it. So I yeah, there were like I'd say 3 weeks after I'd kind of left the job, it it had quietened down. We were back talking again, and there was no
Yeah.
more said about it. You know.
And do
That's
you
good.
feel like that sort of part has helped you to where you are now? That experience has, put you in good stead going forward.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I was on the way to Ireland pretty poly day, um, and I was talking to Rafe, and um, obviously Blue Stocking was favourite, and I was saying to Rafe like if I'd never had the ammo job, Blue Stocking would probably have been my first ride at the Curragh. So
Yeah.
it taught me a few things, you know what I mean? I'd seen tracks, and it wasn't so much like we didn't have the horses for them races, but then we both didn't know what horses you needed for them races. And after I'd ridden in them, knew what sort of horse you needed for that sort of particular race.
Yeah, of
Nice.
course. Okay, and Ross, so your relationship with I just want to touch very quickly on your relationship with Race Beckett. Obviously he's had a stellar season as well as a trainer. It's been unbelievable, and he's a fantastic trainer in himself. You must have some plans next season. You must have some big plans. What's he like to work with as a trainer?
Oh, well, he's grand outside of the yard.
Is he? All right. Okay.
There's a book
Oh,
coming
It
here,
seems
isn't
like there's a
there?
bit of life about him. Yeah.
oh yeah. Well, like although he's got all a great, nice bunch of 2-year-olds and whatever, he's got loads of train owners that, are demanding high results, to paying good money for horses and whatever you'll have. So, you know, he wants the job done properly, and once the job gets done properly, everything's all right. And then we see race day what they're really made of. But yeah, I would expect if he was too easy going that the job wouldn't be taken as serious. But um, no, we'll definitely have to work when we go in there, but you get rewarded.
Yeah, of
No,
course.
that's it.
Okay.
And
Go on, Chris.
no, I was going to say, so obviously one thing definitely want to touch on, just mention there is blue stocking. We've been very vocal about blue stocking on our podcast over the last few months. Massive fan of her. We called it out a couple of sort of months before. We'd love to see her after the mile, like going for the arc. Um, just what was your sort of run us through the race, how you sort of felt the race panned out?
Well, first, finally met two lads that found the form book that I was looking at before the race.
Roster, I didn't get it. The bookies were just, I don't understand.
I couldn't even times, and Sunway and Ambiente Friendly tied in all the form you needed to see.
Mm.
I couldn't. I didn't believe she was going to win it, but I couldn't see how she didn't have a big chance in the race. I didn't expect her to be odds on, but I didn't expect her to open at 12-1 or whatever she opened at.
Yeah.
And then the race, I don't think I've ridden a race as more comfortable as that.
You
That
looked
was
it the whole way round.
it was probably the most enjoyable top race I've ever ridden in, because everything just went right. I
Yeah.
said Shaquille was a nervous wreck, but her was just, it was like a piece of work.
Yeah.
Um, and even, but even, there was even little things before the race. You could see the Japan horse got very sweaty. Sosi got very anxious. The same with Los Angeles, but I know that's Los Angeles way anyways. But the other horses, I didn't know it was them
Yeah.
attacked character. There was a couple of horses down at the start that were very sweaty, and my filly went down at the start like I was going down to the bottom of the gallop to jump off to come back up again.
Mm.
She walked away, and it was the French filly.
Oh, Aventure was it?
No, the other one.
Oh.
She galloped past me when I was just trotting away. My filly took no notice of her, and Saucy took off bucking and plunging and nearly dropped Guillaume on the way to the start.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But there was little things that I was going down thinking, I'm not sure. And then I got to the start, and the one everyone was kind of half roaring about before the race, Look de Vega. That horse was in a mess when he got down to the start.
Yeah.
He completely by look. I didn't think he'd stay anyways, but he was in a mess when he got to the start, and I just thought, yeah, if we can get out and get into the position we need to be in, we'll have a chance.
Well, we were quite surprised, Chris, weren't we? Because Ryan ended up at the front, didn't he? And then yeah,
Yeah,
Ryan
so
led,
please,
and
yeah.
like when the draws were released, because I rang Chris, I said, mate, the numbers are out. And she talking about Blue Stock, and I said she's got a great she's drawn three, and there was still not much support coming in for her. And I'm thinking, what is going on? What is going on here? Of course, she's perfect draw. This should go right. How
Well,
nervous were you, Rossa?
I wasn't.
You
I
weren't.
really
You didn't look it.
no. I wasn't. I was excited. Do you know the only part I was nervous was just out the gates.
Yeah,
I just needed to get out and into stride. Once I had done that, after that, it was out of my hands because I knew where I'd position her early doors in the first couple of furlongs, depending on the gallop, would determine where I was going to be to finish.
right.
And when we hadn't gone mad early, I just kept driving forward. And I thought Continuous to come over, if I'm being perfectly honest. And he didn't. It was Los Angeles, so I was thinking, even better. I have a target now.
Yeah,
And
you put her
after
in a brilliant position.
I mean, on form, anyways, you were guaranteed Los Angeles was going to get you into the straight. It didn't matter what
yeah,
happened. I thought on form, solid as a rock, stays all day, won't mind the ground. He will guarantee you get you into the straight. So
yeah.
when
Of
he came,
course.
I kind of half relieved.
Yeah, I mean, I text Harry in the morning. I sent Blue Stocking still 10-1, and I can't understand why she's been massively overlooked. We were all over her for the race. And then you put her in prime position, like you say, out the stalls. Great spot. And in the arc in years gone by, you tend to get, when you hit the straight, you'll always get that one horse that comes wide, comes fast, comes right round the outside. At what point were you expecting to something to come from the pack at any point, like a couple of furlongs out, or was you just thinking, do you know what? Nothing's coming to me.
So when we had to change tactics in the Vermeer, Aventure headed me, but it's because she gets a small bit idle. And I seen a side of her that I didn't think was there, and the way she battled, because I went half a length down in Aventure and she couldn't put me away. And my filly just took off. But because we were drawn so wide, my meaning was to Rafe going out in the Vermeer. If I get her into top gear before they come, even if she does idle, she's up a gear or two higher than I was at the top of the straight. But if
Yeah,
I drop in and we're going slow, no gallop, sure, it'll take me 6 or 7 strides to get her going anyways. And I thought, similar thinking to when did I think I get caught? Well, turning in, like when that horse went wrong just before the fall straight,
Yeah.
it pushed everyone back. And it just stopped Sosie from breathing down my neck. And I was able to fill her up and do what I wanted, even letting Ryan go 2 or 3 lengths clear me, because then I definitely had a target that by the time I'd straightened up, I had a target and I was up into top gear. And just before the top of the fall straight, I just pulled off the rail to go after Ryan because I didn't want to get boxed in. And Sosie came around me with Sunway and she lit up. And well, one, that never happened before with her, because usually you'd be off the bridle early with her. And two, when I gave her a kick in the belly at the 400, I thought there's no one getting to me.
No.
I was near guaranteed the way she was going forward for me, no one would get to me to the 200. And I thought, if they're going to get to me at the 200, even if something comes over the top late on this ground, it's going to be slow enough.
Yeah.
Even when you look back in Alpinista, it looked like the Aga Khan horse was going to come and beat her, and she went
yeah,
again. So I thought the ground, last year was a bit different. It was quick ground. Westover got done.
Yeah.
I thought when I give her a kick, no one's going to get to me to the 200. And if they are, they're going to come. But it won't be as quick as I'm half expecting. It wouldn't have been as quick as when Aventure came over the top of me, because that was quicker ground that day. And then after that, I think Aventure came out with the pack, but
Yeah.
she wasn't for catching.
No.
Like,
no,
I had
no,
another pound. Aventure was wrong with me by another pound than she was in the Vermeer, and I beat her comfortably.
Yeah.
And I also for a filly, she'd won what 3 out of her 5 starts before that race. She was in the form of her life, improving all the time, which is mad to say, but also was full of confidence, which she
Yeah.
probably hadn't been as a 3 year old and was only getting to grips with things as a 4 year old.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
she's
course.
incredible how she's kicked on this season. And crossing the line, the adrenaline, the buzz, you must have been like just like
Uh it's
flying.
it's indescribable. It really is. It you couldn't, and it's quick. It's 30 seconds, but it's along with being overjoyed and full of excitement, it's a lot of disbelief that this has happened. Especially like I had great upbringing and very harshly family, but also we didn't come from a lot. You know, everything we got,
Mm.
we had to earn, and it's just to come a long way from not loads or not backing other people got as kids or whatever you have to say. It was brilliant.
Well,
Best feeling on a horse of your life so far?
On horse, yeah. Memory, uh, probably this one here, her winning the Pretty Polly was probably one that will sit longer in the memory
Yeah.
because
And you
my grandparents were there that day and they never go racing. They'd never been
ah,
ever with
oh,
me
brilliant.
before, and they were there that day, and that was just something else.
right.
No, that's
I think, look,
amazing.
Rossa, I mean, obviously, yeah, you've won 4 Group 1s, and one of them's a fucking arc. It's crazy to think. So but I just think over the last couple of years, it's got to be said, you've slipped under the radar. And Chris and I have been a fan of yours for fans of yours for a long time. And I think you've been overlooked. But obviously, since this closer partnership with Rafe Beckett, you're very much up and coming. So like next season. It's got to be the season for it, isn't it? So is there one particular horse out of Race Yard that you're looking forward to riding next year?
There's actually a lot, but um, there was a lovely filly. There was a lovely filly that won in Salisbury 3 weeks ago, and she took on the Colts, and probably visually she wasn't as impressive as she felt. But the Colts she beat absolutely hacked up in Kempton tonight. A filly called Chantilly Lace, I think it's
Okay.
called.
Yeah.
She's a lovely filly.
Mhm.
Um, Michael and Doreen Tabor owner. Um, there's quite a few others. I'm banned this weekend, so probably miss out on Sea Cruiser. He's going to go for the Criterium or the Futurity. He's a lovely horse as well. And there's quite a
Mhm.
few. There's definitely like we've had a great year this year, but there looks like there's a nicer bunch of 2 year olds than there was last year. So it's all
Okay.
well and good for us saying this, but last year I'd have told you Task Force after being second in the middle park could have been Anthem and it didn't work out. But that's
Yeah, it's
how
strange
racing
like that.
goes.
Yeah.
Racing
Mm.
goes.
Yeah. Of course
Uh,
it is.
and yeah, there's quite a few exciting ones, but also it's great to be excited going into the winter. But then there's a lot of burst bubbles come to New Year when you figure out, oh, they're not as good. But then some exceed what you expected of them, and
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can imagine it sort of balances out.
yeah.
And just
Yeah.
quickly, is Blue Stocking likely to stay in training, or are we going to keep her in
Um,
training?
I haven't a clue. I'd be
Mm.
honest with you, and no one in the yard knows. I'd say Rafe doesn't even know himself. I know she hasn't gone home, but after that, see the I'd say the biggest problem with the stud farms and sending home fillies now, whether they're going to retire or not, is because it was such a bad winter last year, and a lot of
Mm.
studs had problems with getting
Mm.
mares in foal and things like that. They might be doing a different approach. I'm not sure, but
Mm.
I don't see.
Understood.
She's won everything there is to win. She's won the R. But then you look at it and goes, look how much she's improved. You don't see why she can't improve next year, but who knows?
Okay.
Yeah, and you can
I
even
won't
get
Understood.
back.
I won't be disappointed, but I
No.
also won't be heartbroken because she owes me nothing. Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they were talking
Yeah.
about the clash if she stays in training with Kalpana, obviously both Juddmonte horses.
Yeah. Uh, I haven't ridden in a Phillies race this year that would fear
No,
me blue stocking.
no.
I would just, I would, I don't get me wrong. I can understand Kyle Pan has improved a lot and probably done more than Blue Stocking did as a 3-year-old and could be even better next year and looks like she will be,
Mm.
especially with a Juddmonte pedigree. But uh, what price? I'd always ask when people said, "Oh, would you take on Japan?" What price would Blue Stocking have been if she was in that, even backing up the car?
Yeah.
It's a
Well,
very
I'm
good
team blue
point.
stocking all the way,
And
so I'm all good. We're all
and
good. We're team blue
Absolutely.
stocking.
and being the same owners, they mightn't. Who knows? They mightn't even take each other on ever again.
No, maybe not. Maybe not.
Right, I'm gonna have to interrupt because we're running out of time on the call here. Rossa, for joining us tonight, really do appreciate it. As I said, it's to spare us the time is quite something to have you on. Congratulations on all of your success on last season. It was great to watch. Um, and if I could just say one thing, just go for the Jockeys Championship and get it done next season, mate. It's one of them, innit?
I'll,
We need to see you number one.
I'll give you my agent's number. You can give him a grilling.
Please, mate, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great. No, but thank you so much, and wish you a great time on your time off. It's been great having you on.
No, thank you, lads, and you're doing a great job. Cheers for that.
Take
Thank you so
care, mate.
much. Cheers. Take
Thanks.
care.